Hi, we're doing this again because I messed up the first one. Welcome to another Toonkind 12 FPS. I am KT, and I am here with the wonderful magical.
Hi, I'm Magical Top Hats. Welcome back to Jackass. Anyway,
Don't worry, I won't mention dirigibles.
God damn
They didn't know what dirigibles were.
God, stop! Shut!
Don't worry, they knew what Zeppelins. 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 I almost said zip lines. You're welcome. I love you too. Anyway, I am
part of emoji at you. I throw it at your skull.
I go to catch it. I don't know what you're throwing because I blanked out at the first part of that sentence, but I catch it anyway.
I throw a heart emoji at you.
Heart emoji, perfect. Boy, am I glad that this is not a real human heart. Anyway. That'd be awkward. Welcome to Thought Process. The FPS, that's literally what it's called. It's not a joke. I'm guessing
I can tell our thought processes are gonna be real whack today.
This is what happens when you put two ADHD squirrels in the same, like, playroom, and you're just like, they didn't even have any enrichment. They made their fucking own.
I'm... Also, it's really early in the morning, technically, for both of us.
I look at the fact it's almost noon for you, and I'm like, okay.
This is early for me.
That's fair. I have no room to talk. Anyway, I am playing, I don't know if I've said this, Lorem, the quiet pair of my beautiful idiot, my wonderful boy.
I am playing Ollo. I do a gesture. How the fuck do I describe them?
They're a penguin in a costume.
They kind of look like a plague doctor. Very fancy, very Venice Carnival-ish. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my brain thought of stupid jokes like, I'm all about this.
God.
Anyway, let me paint the scene again, because I also did the title card. Alright!
I mean, you've already painted the scene.
Yeah.
So now you paint the scene.
Yeah. Man. Started off so strong.
God.
Oh, gosh. What about him?
God damn.
What about him? I'm sorry. Shit. Okay. Focus.
I'm leaving. I'm going to
FPS
I'm going
over,
to
guys,
Brazil.
I guess. I'm so sorry. Brazil of all places? Really?
I am going to Brazil.
You realize I know people in Brazil, right? You're not going to escape. They're not even on the server. They have no connections to this at all. I look at my roommate. They legitimately have a Brazilian passport. They have dual citizenship. I will find you.
Me makes a joke. KT, you fucking sure about that? Anyway.
I fucking what? Sorry.
Have you not seen any of the You're Going to Brazil stuff?
No.
God. Okay, this is fine.
I'm sorry. Shit! Damn it. Welcome to the FPS where the entire time we just do stupid dumb shit.
It's been 40 minutes since we were supposed to start!
Okay, part of that was I needed to eat because you made me. Anyway.
That's fair, but also...
I wasn't even hungry. Magic made me eat food. I can't believe I'm making me self-care like this. Anyway, I look at the fact that this is probably going to be an angsty FPS. Also, heads up, this probably is going to have content warning of some identity issues, personal crises, hopefully some wholesome stuff. I mean, Ollo's in it, so I mean, it's going to happen one way or another. I force Lorem, I shake him. You will heal, so help me. I know I broke you, but you shall get better. Anyway.
A wiggle.
They, to paint the scene, again, and I resist the pun, I'm guessing there's some sort of park area or whatnot. I don't know if you've ever been to a park that has, like, some sort of, like, pond area that, you know, you just chill at. I love those. They're my favorite. That's kind of where Lore is, thinking about shit. Because they found some things out recently. and they needed to have a think.
A good old think.
A good old thought process. Uh,
But
cheating. Yes.
Roll credits. No.
Roll credits. I don't have that die. Is that a +2 modifier? Like.
No. No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, KT, you're fine. I was making a reference to a thing.
I know. I am. The joke is that I'm moving on. There's a tree. There's a pond. There's a hatted boy under it skipping stones in a protagonist style. I hand you the plot.
The plot. I really want to roll perception to see.
Do it. I'll also roll perception because I think you have like negative wisdom.
No. I have negative intelligence.
That's it. I'm laughing because Laura just has like flat and is that a dirty fucking 20?
Yeah, that is a dirty 20.
Oh hey, Laura, I'm so proud of you. You got an 18. You both notice each other. I don't know how you want to go about this, but do you kind of? I wiggle and I hand the mic to you.
No.
You go first.
Okay, this is fine.
Yeah, narrate what Ollo? Shit, my brain deleted how you say it. I've heard it like 1,000 times.
Honestly, it can be pronounced both ways.
Don't do this to me.
Ollo.
Ollo. Okay, I'm like, how do you say it, Magic? I put my hand on your shoulder. Don't do this to me. Don't give me options. I will choose none of them somehow.
Ollo, both work. I usually use Ollo, which technically would have like an A at the front, because it kind of sounds like an A, but it's actually just another O.
English is fucked up. You can say whatever you want. It could say penguin if you really wanted it to, and just say, yeah, that's English.
The weird fucked up penguin.
Yeah, don't worry. It has a silent P. It's so silent it's not even there.
I can't get distracted on how to actually pronounce that without the P.
Oh, okay. I mean it would be Engwin, but
God damn it. Engwin.
Immediately think, oh shit, okay. I'm gonna say, although I'm taking the reeds back, otherwise we were gonna steer this freaking whatever we're in into a ditch. And it's not even a ditch, it's a cliff.
We're gonna drive it into the pond.
Drive into the pond. Oh gosh. My brain is going on so many tangents right now that are jokes. Anyway, puts elbow on table, puts chin on fist. Okay.
Alright, I can actually do descriptions.
You can? Alright, I hang the range back to you.
Alright.
I can speak.
Ollo does typically frequent like some of the parks, because they do community service. You know, like just because they can. They like doing community service. It's fun. And probably like looking to see if like there's any sort of like trash around, because people are rude. Why would they leave trash on the floor of this beautiful park?
Picks up person, puts them in recycling.
No.
They are trash.
I mean, you put them in the recycling instead of the trash can. I cannot keep getting distracted like this.
I'm so sorry. That is on my. I'm gonna zip it.
No, it's okay. I love you.
No, affectionately zip it so that we can hear narrative.
God. Yes, narrative, something I'm great at. Okay. Ah, boy.
He wants to comment so bad.
You can comment. I just need to not get distracted.
If I comment, that's all we're gonna do.
Ollo was walking through the park, and probably even with their total of a 5 intelligence, like it doesn't take a lot to sort of like clock people. Like, oh, that person's probably not having a good time. They're very angstily picking up rocks and skipping them across the lake.
Look at this indie protagonist boy.
Look at this boy. And I'm gonna say, Laura, what you kind of see, probably like in the reflection of the pond, a penguin. you kind of like from the path, like from the path. There's a strange sort of plague doctor-ish penguin person. Uh, they're wearing like full body covering. That just kind of like looks in Laura's direction.
Lord does know what a
there-
plague doctor is. Good boy.
okay. Um, there's
You got a
there's like
19.
2 second pause. I'm going to say with that 18, you can notice that like the clothes aren't exactly practical to be a plague doctor. They look way too fancy for what those clothes normally mean.
Mm.
But
Here's another thing. What do you think about this lord? Ah, yes, this is definitely a tune.
definitely.
Definitely. He rolled a nat fucking one.
Definitely a tune.
Definitely a tune.
Uh, and they sort of like pause, looking at Laura's direction. Do a kind of a little bit of a stiff turn and start walking towards you, Laura.
Lord just pauses, watches this person approach, and I'm guessing, just like the picture, stick out their hand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They sort of stick out their hand. It's just, hello, I am Ollo. Do you need assistance?
Lord is just processing that. And he just
You
goes,
look quite troubled, and I was wondering if I could help.
buddy, what you gotta say? Laura's just giving me open mouth, confused, like not aghast, but just, what the fuck? Look, like, not judging you, but like, why does this keep happening? And me
You are
makes,
staring into 2 eye holes of a mask.
yep, that's a 3. Oh, that's a horrible whiz save. He starts low-key having crisis about the fact, one, applied phlebotomum has told them that they're already very tied to the plot, and that shit will just keep happening to them, because even if they didn't have the blessing of applied phlebotomum, they are innately connected to it as the reincarnation/incarnation of the god of lore. And so he's just like, stares at hand.
There's probably like a minute, like a solid minute that goes by, where like this figure is almost stock still, except for maybe like a breeze sort of ruffling the small cloak that they have over their shoulder, and probably their hat as well. Before they just kind of like sit down, proper, next to you. Um, you still appear to be quite stressed. Would you like a distraction, or perhaps to talk about it?
Lawyer picks up another rock and kind of taps it against his chin and just sighs. And I love rolling dice. I don't know if you've noticed this about me, but I love rolling dice. I suck at numbers, but boy is it fun to see them randomly generated.
God, I have physical dice I need to use more.
I have some somewhere. I look around my room. Actually, I know where they are, but I'm not gonna get them. Anyway, I'll get them later, maybe. I'll get them for Benjamin. Man, I should make a sheet for Benjamin. That's a tangent. We set that aside. We refocus.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, he taps it against his chin, and he tosses this rock in such a way that this pond is a decent size, but it's not like super big. Like, I mean, maybe the size of like an Olympic pool, a little bit bigger, because, you know, not a square. Lord skips this rock completely to the other side, and it still has momentum to kind of slide on the other side for a while, and he just sighs because he's like, this pond isn't big enough.
Oh, that was a very good throw. Congratulations. And this figure, Sir Ollo, that as they've introduced themselves, sort of like claps their hands, but like their hands are very very kind of plush looking, and they just kind of sound like clapping with like oven mitts.
Lord kind of looks at that and, despite himself, kind of laughs, and he's like, reaches out a hand to shake Ollo's.
Ollo reaches out their hand back.
They shake, and Lore's just like, Lorem choir parif.
Their hand is like you are holding a plush toy.
Lore kind of squeezes it a few times because it's funny, and he just laughs. And he's like,
makes a little squeak noise.
Brain, definitely attuned. And then he just sighs, and he's like, a lot of people call me Lore, but you can call me Lorem, I guess. I don't know. I guess it doesn't fucking matter. And he just skips another rock.
There's a small tilt of their head. Well, I'd prefer to call you what you would prefer to be called.
You know the thing where you open your eyes wide and you like do the exhale with puffed out cheeks? Just
yeah.
Yeah, Lore does that because he's like, he does not know what the fuck he wants to be called right now. He's like, do you have a preference, Ollo?
Nope.
Of course you don't. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Skips another rock. Just sighs.
I would prefer to call you whatever you would be comfortable with.
Let's go with Lorem for now. Picks up another rock.
Ollo nods. It is nice to meet you, Lorem.
Is that going to be weird for you, Magic?
I will have to get used to it, but give me a minute, I can do it.
Yeah, Lore will also be like, but if you say Lore, that is also not a big deal. And he skips the rock he's holding.
Ollo kind of like shakes their head and it's just, no. If you prefer to be called Lorem, I will call you Lorem.
Well, at the moment that might be convenient. Skips another rock.
Why is that?
Well, oh boy, that's a can of worms. He says that.
Ollo looks around. I do not see any cans of worms.
Oh. Hey, by any chance do you know a little robot named Porridge?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. He looks up at the sky and he's like, yep, that fucking makes sense, doesn't it, Phlo? Skips another rock. Somewhere a god just sighs but smiles because, yeah, no, that fucking does make sense. You're related to the plot. You can't escape this shit.
God.
Yeah, no, he's just like, nope, that makes sense. Let me just rubs his hand across his face with just a tired but just baffled smile, like, doesn't say this, but of course, fucking, yep. Just turns to Ollo. Are you a robot?
How dare you fucking call me out so fast?
Okay.
That isn't common knowledge. How dare you fucking call me out like that?
Okay, to be fair, they are acting a lot like Porridge.
That is also fair.
And Lore is the person who makes assumptions, where it's like, yes, 1 + 1 is always 2, no exceptions.
Because this is not how I expected this to happen, but honestly,
so
a lot fluffier than I thought it would be.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. Lore just had to be like, no, this is a robot. The last person I met who did anything like this was also a robot. Oh, they know each other. Looks up at the sky. Yeah, this is connected, ain't it? No other explanation. My favorite thing is like, oh man, just lots of things. Basically, things that people shouldn't just assume. Lore assumes. The worst part is he's usually right.
God.
Because he has no other experience to the contrary. Because of the fucking plot.
That's fair. This is
I'm
hilarious.
So sorry.
It's okay.
Well,
I can't believe I've been fucking called out like this in my own home. I am taking a drink of water.
Wonderful. I'll do the same, I guess. Cheers. Clink.
Cheers. Clink.
Mhm.
Alright.
Anyway, Loris asks that shit.
Ollo pauses and just kind of sits there and stares for like a minute. Yes.
Laura's just like, oh, I'm sorry, is that not common knowledge?
Ollo kind of like tilts their head. Well, I do not bring it up.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's technically no. I tend to assume things. I'm sorry. They end up being right half the time.
Oh, you are perfectly fine.
He like glares
Don't
off
worry
to the
about it,
side
Lorem.
at that comment too. He does not seem happy about the fact that they end up being right half the time apparently.
There's God. Man, this is funnier. Okay. No, I've decided this is hilarious. Anyway.
Yeah. I look at future plans. This is hilarious because I look at Laura
hilarious.
assuming people know.
This is hilarious. Ollo kind of looks at Laura. Would you like assistance?
What would you like to assist with? Laura says, and just he stopped picking up rocks. He kind of tossed another one off to the side and kind of he's sitting crisscross applesauce and kind of leans on a hand at Ollo and just very eyes open, just like, man, what are they gonna say? Just like, yeah, what would you like to assist me with? Because at this point they're just like, well, something's fucking happening at this point and I have no trust over it. This person doesn't even realize what they walked into.
God. You seem very stressed and your current activities do not look to be stimulating it enough. Would you like to finger paint?
It looks a little taken aback at that, like, finger paint? I mean...
Yes. And Ollo reaches into their sort of outfit and pulls
Laura
out
assumes hammer space.
um
Sorry, I think this is so fucking funny. Gets the robot part right, but assumes that they're like
Yup. That's what's hilarious. Ollo pulls out a two decently sized canvases, and a set of paints. Specifically, these are like finger paints.
This is where, if anybody is not aware, my precious idiot is colorblind. Completely colorblind. Not like red, green colorblind. Black and white colorblind, which is a thing, which is really fun. So, what lovely shades of gray.
There is many shades of gray, actually.
That's very exciting for him.
Oh yeah. There's a nice decent range, and some of them have like different kind of looking. I am snapping. Different sort of.
Sparkly,
Not exactly like
shiny.
Yes, sparkly or shiny.
What is that called? This is a word, like not iridescence. I mean, I guess some of that, but it's like oh man, there's a word. I'm an art major. I need to know this, and I don't, and I find that really funny.
I'm also an art major.
Wait, you're an art. How did I not know you're an art major?
Technically a design major, but
I hold my head in my fucking hands. How did I not know
Hey,
this?
you wonder how I smashed out that logo so fast?
Oh, wait, you know what? That's a good point. You know what? I walk into the fucking sea. This is fine.
I hope you stop.
Anyway, Ollo just kind of looks at that and he just... Sure, I guess... Why not? He looks up at the sky. You happy?
I am very happy you agreed.
That was I'm yelling at God, I guess you could say. And Lore just takes the canvas, says that casually.
I have to roll something. 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 Predictable. Um. Ollo gives a nod.
You got a modified 1.
Uh-huh.
Does Ollo not know what God is?
No. That was a religion roll.
Cool. Does not know what God is. Cool. That's a thing. Who's God? Maybe a friend?
Yeah. Clap that in for later.
Yeah.
And Ollo interestingly takes off their gloves. However, it is to reveal a pair of smaller, thinner gloves.
Hey,
that are not as fleshy.
Wait a minute. Really quick question.
Uh-huh.
Ollo's met Sammy, right?
Yeah.
Do they want to roll? It can be insight or anything that they want for the color Lore's eyes are.
If it's the fear shade, I don't think Ollo's ever seen the fear shade.
Okay, cool. Never mind. But boy, does this roll insight anyway. I need to know what to give you.
What is my insight? I know my insight's pretty good.
Yeah, you can even give me your passive if you want.
I rolled a 12.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, man, this is obviously a human. Oh boy, sure is this a human. Man, what a fine, totally stereotypical example of a human. Those are weird eye colors, though. I guess purple is interesting. Maybe that's a new thing that humans have decided to do. You don't know.
I don't know.
How do people work? I don't know.
They know how to like do medical shit, but not that color purple. I look at Ollo.
Boy,
you're going to ask about this later, aren't you?
Do it.
This is fine.
Yep, this is totally fine. I wiggle. Yay. Yeah, no, that's totally, yeah. And you can also tell that, oh, if this person stood up, they'd probably be pretty tall. That's interesting. Wait, shit, how tall is Ollo again?
Ollo is 6'8".
6 feet only?
6'8".
Oh, 6'8", okay. Oh, shit, okay, I hold my head. Did you know I had Lore grow recently?
Oh, right. Boy. Forgot about that.
Lore's 2 inches taller if he stands. But that hasn't happened yet. I'm not that sorry, but I'm also so sorry.
Okay.
He would have been shorter. Anyway, I look away.
Man. I wiggle.
Anyway, canvases. And we're just kind of, I love the assumption that these, you can change it, but did you know that a lot of like kid paints aren't labeled what colors they are on the tin, so to speak? Because they assume you can see the color.
I did not know that.
Or they'll just have it on the box and not the container.
God, I lay down.
Yeah, so Lore, low-key used to this, but also, like, mildly frustrated because his folks were really good about labeling things for him, even though his siblings would sometimes mess with him and switch them. Oh gosh, I look at the fact that, like, he has a little brother named Pete. I did not know about authors stuff before this. Because guess what? How they spell it? Yeah. Peat, because all of them are geography puns, or printing puns.
That's fair.
Yep. Pete would definitely do that constantly to Lore. Just constantly like, yo, yeah, no, this is totally blue. And Lore just has to fucking trust it.
I mean, he could always ask.
Lore... probably doesn't, because at this point he's like, man, it's gonna be interesting when they see me using fucking weird colors together, isn't it? Opens up one.
Mhm.
Just he takes a really dark shade, no idea what it is, sticks his thumb in it, and starts doing smears. Um, and it looks at Ollo as he does it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Ball in your court.
They take up they kind of like survey the area a little bit, and just kind of like stare out into the pond, and then like look over at Lore, um, sort of turn to Lore, uh, stare at the picture, stare at the canvas for a moment, and start to pick out like a base color. I'm thinking like I'm going to go look back at the picture. Probably like a green,
You
and
fool! I don't have to describe color.
and like starts to sort of uh detail a little bit of what kind of looks like a shoreline.
Cool. Does Ollo want to try to notice what Lore is doing?
Yes.
So it's only been a few seconds, but they already have what you recognize to be something that vaguely looks like you.
Oh, nice.
And at this point, you notice that they're working from dark to light. And boy, do those colors really interesting together. I mean, I guess you kind of tilt your head. You don't have to do this, but like you look at it and you're like, well, the contrast makes sense, but the colors don't.
Hmm. I'm going to roll an intelligence.
Have fun with that, sweetie.
-1. They just assume it's an artistic choice.
One could say that.
It's a -1. Um, God. Laura, you hear I like your use of contrast work.
Lore says, thank you. I'm very good at seeing contrast. And do they want to roll insight on that? Because they do give like a bit of a smile that doesn't necessarily imply sarcasm, but implies they probably mean more than just that.
An insight?
Yeah, insight or whatever you think it would be.
Oh, that's a 20.
Not 20. Oh, yeah, you get the fact that you probably missed something, and you look back and you realize, oh, this is probably isn't just an artistic choice. Something else is going on. Huh. Can they see color? I don't think they can see color. Oh, they only see in they can only see in contrast. You think that this was a joke.
They kind of stare for a moment and go, "Oh." And they God, um I can actually do this. Laura instantly clocked them as a robot. Laura, you hear a strange sort of like shutter noise. Like one from a camera. Uh, and they they sort of finished using that green that they were using, but they go for just what seems to be like a random shade at random. Except for the contrast.
Alert squints and looks at Ollo and goes, are you mirroring me?
Do you wish for me not to be?
No, just that's yeah, just how do you feel about this, Lore? I don't know. Oh man, I fucking love D&D. It can make choices for me. Yeah, Lore just kind of he's not like he doesn't not like it, but he's also like, what the fuck? Like he doesn't think it's pity. Is it pity? He doesn't think it's pity.
Not. No.
Yeah, no, but he rolled a 3. So this is his thought process of, wait a minute. I don't think this person means any ill will.
No.
But at the same time, he's
just
just like, this is gonna be interesting, isn't it? Sigh. Not out of malice or anything, but more of, I think they just made themselves colorblind for me. That's a thing. And then he's like, wait, someone just made themselves colorblind for me. Tiny blush.
uh,
He is touched. This has
God,
never happened before.
I wiggle. God.
I wiggle too.
Just man. Just man. God. Man. Oh.
Anyway, Lore has been working up to a brighter contrast, and it starts to get Ollo's mask in there. And they already have, like, pretty well blocked out picture of Ollo in a very short amount of time. Like, apparently, he's not a stranger to this sort of work. But it's really interesting, and I don't know if how Ollo would feel about this, but the use of color is definitely something.
I mean, they can't see it anymore.
Yeah, they can't see it anymore, but in the contrast, it's quite lovely, especially with the fact that Lore has tried to use texture, like thicker pants in certain areas and things like that, because, I mean, he can't see color, so what he does instead is usually try to use some sort of texture, as well as the contrast, or using, like, oh, hey, this is shiny, I'm gonna make it shiny over here, because I like how that reflects. Stuff like that. Just total disregard for the color, because that doesn't fucking matter. Because as art majors, you know, I don't know if your teachers have ever said this, but I had one teacher who would often tell us that value does all the work and color gets all the credit.
I have not heard that.
It's a very good phrase and I love it.
The only thing in my brain right now is like my literal color management class where we had to learn like how people identify colors with machines.
Okay, I would love to hear more about that, because one of the reasons I made Lore colorblind is that until recently I have had crap sense of color. I would put colors together that, in theory, it's like somebody using math to apply to someone's personality and getting it really wrong, like if Numbers the show was completely off basis, because I'd be like, well, in theory these colors go together, tries to implement that, whoo, did not work.
But long story short, whenever you like have to print like a real thing, the reason they have those little like those little bars of the colors.
Oh yeah, I know about that. I have a graphic design certificate as well as the fact I look at Lore's parents. They're printers and cartographers. My mom's a cartographer and my father's a printer. They use those. I grew up knowing what those were, because I remember being a kid and being like, what's this? And my dad just straight up was like, oh, that's so that they know what colors to use. And I'm like, oh, nice. For a while, my artwork had little swatches next to them, because I'm like, these are the colors I used. Look at me, I'm like an adult. I am a machine.
I wiggle.
I wiggle back. That was a tangent. We're just vibing. I'm so sorry to anybody who's listening to this in the future, but not sorry enough to actually feel bad about it.
Mood. It's fun. But, yeah. God, I am just doing wiggles. Man.
Man, this is fluffier than I thought it would be, and I'm so thankful.
Yeah, that was my only goal.
Good. Because Lore needs this.
Lore needs this.
Look, let me put into a nutshell some of the crises he's having. He just found out that he is the incarnation of the god of Lore. His family has worshipped the god of Lore for generations, so he grew up worshipping himself, is named after himself, and he did this to himself and does not remember. So that's a thing he sits with. Also the fact that apparently a bunch of gods think of him as a sibling, and that feels uncomfortable, and he does not like that shit. Especially because one of them is an asshole, and he does not like them.
That's
I look
fair.
at applied phlebotomum. They're a bastard all. They go by all pronouns. Because guess what? Chaos doesn't have a gender.
God. What's your agenda? Agenda? I don't got one of those.
Agenda? I didn't even know him.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Shit.
God.
Anyway, so they're using yeah, they've built some of the texture up on the hat, on some of the edges. They kind of do something interesting with like the little swirls on the side of all those masks and stuff, like adding like not necessarily embellishments, but little tiny details that like are on your mask that you know of because you can see them, but you didn't expect anybody else to notice, and you're guessing because oh yeah, this person is able to notice the contrast better. They can probably notice that more because they're not distracted by the color. And I don't know, I think I'll just give this to Ollo. You think about the fact that they don't realize that you yourself are black and white. So that's fun.
Black of white, except for a small pop of color of like of gold.
Which I forgot to add, but it's fine. Maybe it's just perspective.
Maybe it's just perspective.
It's not, but it's fine. I'll draw it later. Maybe.
Yeah. If Lore kind of glances at Ollo's, Ollo is doing a pretty accurate, like, sort of copy of the sort of surroundings, like the still life.
Hey, are you still there? Magic. Oh dear. I think my internet crapped out. One moment. Come on. Boy, is this sure a thing.
This is.
Hi, I am
Well.
back.
Hi.
Did you well,
Are you okay?
yep, sorry. Internet decided to be like, well, what's a connectivity thing? Oh, right. We were supposed to be giving you Wi-Fi. My bad. And I'm like, hey, I was kind of doing a thing, but that's fine, I guess. You said a pretty accurate rendition of the shoreline, and that's about what I heard.
A pretty, like, it's almost 1-to-1 to the shoreline. But there is like a little figure sitting on the shore that does kind of look like you.
I just made like a whiz save to see, with advantage, to see how Laura's doing. The first one was a nat 1. But luckily I rolled just a normal 10. So I'm gonna say that they're not doing awful. They're feeling kind of better. Also, screw the rules. They're feeling a lot better in some regards, but if they think too long, they kind of don't feel great. But this is a good distraction. You know how when you're like sad and you're still sad, but someone helps distract you. But if you're left alone, sometimes you get sad again.
Yeah.
It's kind of that. Because I also don't know if he meant to be here on his own or not. Maybe he did. I don't know. They're still quote-unquote cursed with applied phlebotomum, which they found out is actually a blessing of applied phlebotomum, and not a curse to be lost. And the god kind of just said, you'll get used to it.
That's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
There was other reasons, but that's what Lore took away from it. Because when you're upset, you don't necessarily listen to all of the reasons. You just take away what you feel affects you. And that was, oh, it's not gonna get any better. Slash, I mean, I'm guessing Phlo did mention something along the lines of, I mean, it will get easier potentially, but he doesn't fucking care right now. We have yet to do the second half of that, but I know certain things that are gonna happen, I think, anyway. But, enough talking about that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Laura's gonna see this little figure and just smile, cause aw, that's him.
That's you.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he's not glancing; he's just obviously looking.
yeah. Uh, they kind of turn and like hold it up. Do you like it?
Uh, it's good. Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
How
they
do
kind
you
of.
like yours?
I think it is very lovely. I like your use of textures and layering.
Laura smiles and you just called yourself lovely.
there's there's like a there's like a pause and then like a nod. Uh,
Pretty
I
bird.
hand you a wholesome bean. And just yeah. I think they kind of like look at it and like offer the picture out to offer the picture out to Lore.
Laura does the same.
Fuck, they swap pictures.
Mm-hmm. And Laura, although you do notice that in the corner they signed LQP.
Ah, God. I lay down. They probably didn't sign theirs.
Mm-hmm. Laura just kind of looks at it and he's very happy and he's like, "Do you want to sign the back or the front?"
Oh, I can sign the back. And they
Do
kind
they
of
know how to write?
no, no, they don't. Um, they can't read. They can't write. So Lore flips it over, and Ollo like takes like dips one of their fingers into one of the paints, and they draw a little mask on it.
I'm gonna see would it man, intelligence or insight. I'm gonna do intelligence because that's a little bit better if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
9. Is that enough to maybe figure out You can
I
say
don't
no.
think so. I
Okay.
don't think so because it could just be like how they do their signature.
Yeah. Laura's just
You know,
like
that's a little thing that they're known by.
Laura's just like, "Oh, I like how you do your signature. That's cute."
Thank you. I try my best.
Mhm. Laura doesn't know. This is fine.
This is fine. And
Mhm.
Olive very carefully places their canvas down to their opposite side from where they're sitting next to Lore. Um, and just very carefully so it can like dry out and not get like any sort of debris on it.
Mhm. Laura does the same.
Uh,
Mhm.
do you wish to talk about your predicament, or would you rather more distractions?
Distractions would be good, but if you want to hear about it, I guess you can. I mean, I don't think you're malicious, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But
I
he
would never do
thinks
anything to harm you. Ever.
Laura believes you. That was an 18 on insight.
They're speaking the absolute truth.
Wonderful. But they do have that hesitancy, and they think, and he's like, "I'm not sure if I should tell people. I mean, I was kind of warned against it, but I don't know. I guess I could talk in hypotheticals. Do you do hypotheticals?" Kind of looks at you, kind of with a smirk. It's not malicious or anything. It's just kind of like, kind of tongue in cheek.
God. I look at them. Have a 5 intelligence.
Hmm.
They kind of like tilt their head.
I mean,
If it is
it's like philosophical in a regard. I argue you've got wisdom, but also
yeah.
the idea that they don't fucking get it is also funny.
God. As long as it would help you feel better, talking about these sort of things is good for one's health.
I mean, that's kind of the argument I would use, I guess. So they glare up at the sky again, as if they're like, "You motherfucker,"
God.
because they're like, in their brain they're like, you motherfucking sent this person to me to make me feel better, didn't you? I hate that it's working. I hate you. Like,
God.
you're not my dad. I look at the fact that I'm technically a little sibling, but you're not my dad.
Ollo puts back on one of their like puffier gloves and like offers a hand if Lore wants to hold it.
Lord just looks at that and says, why do you wear the fluffy gloves?
Oh, they are much more comfortable to touch rather than just having a base layer of gloves.
You really
And they
care
like
about
hold up the other. They hold
comforting.
up the other hand and like they move it, and you can see like the joints that are presumably like metal kind of move underneath with minimal layering.
Lord holds out his hand for that one.
Oh, okay. And Ollo takes back off that glove and holds your hand, Lore.
Lord holds it and he's like, can I look at your hand?
Sure.
Yeah, he's gonna roll because this boy does like little mechanical things and whatnot. I look at his family. Anyway, I look at a certain FPS I did with a certain author where they worked on the motherfucking thing. Okay, yeah, no, it's certainly metal and has gears. It's fascinating. I don't think he understands all of it. He's usually more used to clockwork. This isn't
Yeah.
clockwork.
It's some sort of like, it's one thing you do notice even with 11 is this is pure real kind steel.
Wonderful. Laura's just like, oh, you're not a toon.
Nope. They shake their head.
Oh. Did someone make you?
Yes?
Oh. Are they nice like you?
They sort of like stop and kind of like process something for a moment. My primary creator was very nice. The best.
Laura kind of frowns. Oh. I guess that means there were people who weren't nice. I'm sorry.
It is alright. I do not talk to them anymore.
Laura smiles really big at that and he's like, good, they don't deserve it.
Ollo nods in agreement. God.
Handshakes on, these fuckers.
These fuckers. Yeah. But they kind of like curl their hands slightly around his. You're now holding a hand made of pure steel.
Laura actually quite much prefers this. It's better sensory for him.
It's slightly cold.
Yep, he prefers that. It kind of helps him get out of his head. I don't know if you know about this, but like if you're having panic attacks or anxiety attacks or you're starting to disassociate, sometimes it's really good to have something either really hot or really cold, preferably cold because it won't burn you, to kind of help you snap out of it and focus on present.
I nod. Ice cubes.
Ice cubes. Or if you live in Idaho, you go outside and lay in the snow. Anyway, make some anxiety snow angels before you go back inside.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have experience. What are you talking about? It's
Fair
fine. Yeah, Ollo has their hand being held, and Lawyer eventually takes it and kind of puts his fingers through it, and he's like, well, whoever made you primarily did a very good job. And they smile.
They kind of like do a head nod. They can't really smile. They are wearing a mask. But they kind of like give me a second. Ollo, why do you keep doing this to me? All right. They kind of like lift Laura's hand up and do like a little poke with their beak of their mask. To Laura's hand. It's just. Though I would like to know what is troubling you.
Laura sighs, and he's like, "Can I lean on you?"
Of course.
And it's very, you get the feeling, oh, this is a human. They're very tall. They probably don't have people that are their size that they can do this with. Oh, this must
Hmm.
be nice. Because Laura
Yeah.
definitely is going to cuddle underneath their arm because they want hug and person tall and
Yeah.
their size, and it's very nice.
Yeah. I will note they also feel like Laura's hugging up like a giant plushie.
I think Laura's gonna clock that and just, oh, do you have like stuffing?
Oh, of course.
Huh.
Uh,
You really care a lot about other people.
they nod. They do care a lot about other people.
Uh, they go to ask more questions about Ollo and check on Ollo, but they kind of stop themselves. And what is your passive insight again?
My passive insight, if I'm doing the insight calculations right, would I think be a 16?
Okay, yeah, no, that should be enough. You get the feeling that it's almost like a negative Pavlovian response of they went to say something and it looks like something shocks them, uh, but more of like they make a grimace and they stop themselves and kind of bite their tongue and take a deep breath.
You get pressed slightly closer. Um,
Me having to roll a with save. Do do do.
you are being hugged.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna flavor this in a certain way. So instead of crying because bad, cries because good, but quietly, because he needs to cry. I wiggle. It is he. Let him do this. It's fine. It's very quiet, just kind of like watery eyes, and he wipes at them, and he's like, "Well, do you want to know what's wrong? Like wrong with me? Not wrong with me, I guess, but or what's
I
wrong
want
with
to make
me?
sure you are in the best health you can be.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about physical health." And he just
But
kind
your
of,
mental health is just as much as important.
that's true. That is fair. I do care about my mental health, despite things potentially to the contrary. It's just hard without my family nearby. I mean, I have me, I guess, but I don't know. It's just different. I miss my parents.
Hmm. Are you unable to visit them?
Nope. No, I am not.
Are
Uh,
they able to visit you?
they shouldn't. I guess in theory they could, but magic shenanigans, I guess you could say, are involved, and it would not be a good idea if they ever wanted to go home. And I have 6 younger siblings. I would not be happy with them. They need to be there for them instead. I'm Look, I'm not saying like, oh, woe is me. I'm an adult. I'll never see my family again. It's fine. And he kind of dramatically puts a hand on his forehead and puts a hand out like, oh no, before relaxing and leaning into Ollo and just says, um, just if they looked for me because of, well, I don't know if it's different now or not. Maybe. I guess they did say they would try to work on it. Um, if they find me, they might not be able to find home, essentially, because they just kind of bite their lip. And you get the feeling that they feel like they're about to lie, but that they have no better way of phrasing it without a lot more things to say. And they just go, I guess I'm cursed to be lost, I guess you could say. No, that's not exactly true. Do you know what a applied phlebotomum is? Laura asks. Like the concept of I guess it's like the rule of funny, but more like a Rube Goldberg machine, or oh, of course that were to happen, or things happening just cuz, to make basically makes shit happen, or kind of gives a tired sarcastic laugh, and you can tell that it's not at you. but just at whatever the flip he's talking about, he does not seem
Mm-hmm.
necessarily pleased with.
Mm. Man, I do not know of applied phlebotomum, but I can assume based on what you've told me. God, just Ollo holds him so soft. I don't. Eh. I face plant slightly.
Hmm. I. 1 second, my OBS is doing something weird.
Oh no. All right.
I'll deal with that later, I guess. I can't
Hmm.
access it, but
Oh.
it's still running.
Hmm. That's concerning.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I gotta figure out how to get that to pause later. Hmm. Uh,
Hmm.
wait, is it over here? No? Where did it Where did it go? How do you lose an entire fucking program that's open? How did I do this? Magic! How did I do this?
I don't know.
I invoked applied phlebotomum's name, and now I'm cursed.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. How? How? Okay. Uh. Well, we'll figure that out later.
Hmm.
But, sorry, recap what you said really quick.
Uh, Ollo basically said that they didn't exactly know, but they can put together through context clues.
Okay, Laura's gonna be like, okay, well, with those context clues, what do you think it is? I just want to make sure.
Well, well, you said it was basically when things happen, is it not?
Um, to an extent, kind of like, Laura kind of, leans forward and picks up a stone and kind of sticks it in the rocky, sandy-ish shore, like the transition, and then places another rock on top that's balanced. And he's like, okay, this technically will stay unless something enacts upon it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now let's say, within the frames of a story, that you need something to happen to make it fall. Does that make sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That force would be applied phlebotomum. The thing that you enact to make the thing happen. Like the rule of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's applied phlebotomum as I understand it. Well, there's a. They say God, but the way that they say it is, they prefer, as they say, if gravity had a personality. Does that make sense?
Ollo nods.
Lawyer kind of. Does it really?
A bit.
Do they say that?
No, that's me magic.
Okay, double checking. Lawyer's just like, okay. Do you know what gravity is?
Yes, I do know what gravity is.
Okay, imagine if gravity somehow became a person.
Okay.
That is like applied phlebotomum. Like a force of nature that ended up becoming sentient and getting a domain somehow and becoming a god. He does quotation marks and sighs. Anyway, so I'm blessed heavy air quotes, with applied phlebotomum. So I keep running into people that usually are connected in some way. Or something like that. Just shit keeps happening. He just kind of rubs his face. It's like that's part of the
Ollo,
issue.
Ollo thinks for a moment. Uh, so you are troubled because things keep happening without you wanting them to?
I guess that's a good way of putting it. That's definitely a way to put it.
Do you think it would help if you did those things first? Before someone else decided before you?
Um, well, there's not really a way to figure that out. I can't see the future. I mean, I keep doing my life, live in it, and whatnot, to the best I can, but there's no way for me to tell what's really going on beforehand, really. I mean, I chose to talk to you despite me thinking it was Phlo. They go by Phlo, applied phlebotomum. They're kind of a... Well, they're definitely an individual with a personality, let's just say that. But I think this is their attempt to cheer me up despite themselves meeting you. And I don't know if that's a good way to think about it or not, but I mean, either way, I'm happy to meet you. I just don't like the idea that it is orchestrated, potentially.
Well, I was not commanded to come here. At this time of day, at this hour, while you were here. I decided to take a walk, all by my own.
I mean, they can't control anybody's will. They just kind of give little nudges, so... I'm not saying you were controlled or anything. I just... puts things in a little bit of a different light, I guess. Kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Lore seems to think about that and be like, maybe I'll use a different idiom. Kind of put shadows on memories that didn't used to have them.
I do not think this is a healthy way to think about the world.
Oh, no, it definitely isn't, but I'm trying to... trying to get over it, but I recently also found out a bunch of other stuff that doesn't sit quite right with me. Want to do a mental exercise? Lure kind of smiles in a tired, silly way.
Ollo nods. I will try my best.
Cool. All right, let's say that before you were who you are now, you were something else. Or someone else. Like, let's say before you were Ollo, you were a toon named, let's say, they look around, tree, and they laugh. Can you follow that so far?
They kind of tilt their head, but technically, I was something else before I was me.
Oh, what were you before?
Steel? Iron? Coding?
That's fair, but I guess what I mean is pretend that you were you. How do I say this? He kind of taps his chin. Imagine you were a completely different person before you are now, not just materials.
Ollo nods. They can do that.
Cool. Now imagine that, you know what incarnation or reincarnation is, right?
They also nod.
Cool. Imagine that you're reincarnated to who you are now, but with no memories of your past life.
They nod.
Cool. Now imagine that despite that, there was a bunch of people planning things for you based on that past life and what that person wanted.
Say not.
How would that make you feel?
They pause. Give me a second, because I've been recontextualizing all of this into Ollo brain.
Yeah, no, you're good.
And I found it very interesting and slightly concerning about the pathways that they started to draw.
Yeah, boy, I never know what the shit Lauren gives me is going to do to others. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. They literally just handed me like, "Yep, this is a fact." I'm just like, "Why? Why do you do this?"
This is a fact. What does that mean? What does that mean, Magic? I shake you. What the fuck does that mean?
God.
What about him?
Oh boy. Um, they they kind of tilt their head and God. This. Uh, I'm going to roll just. I feel like I should roll something because their mental process, like my mental process for them, is going in like a loop. Um, because their feelings difficult. Emotions hard. They kind of. I would imagine one would feel stressed and controlled.
And, do you like being controlled?
They kind of like look over and tilt their head. Um, just hmm,
In
I
this
suppose no.
hypothetical. Yeah, no. It doesn't feel good to think that you've been controlled, especially when you didn't know it. And would that make you question some of the choices you've made?
Hmm. They they pause. For me? For me personally, no.
Lore looks confused at you. He's like, why?
My programming is what makes me me.
Ah. Mm. Lore doesn't wince per se, but he kind of makes a face like he's like not sure what to do with that, like scrunches it up and thinks, oh, I don't necessarily have programming, but I mean, I guess my personality could be considered that, but what if
And
your
you are you.
well, yeah, but I was also the person before, I guess. And is Ollo insightful enough to connect that this analogy pertains to lore, or is this the first time that they connect that this is lore's situation?
I they connect that this is Laura's situation. But you are still you, as you are right here, right now, despite who you were before.
Well, kind of. I mean, recently there was something that was influencing me to be kind of more like the other person, I guess. Maybe not like them exactly, but something that used to affect them, and they had better control over it than I did. And that wasn't me. That didn't feel good. Especially now that I know what it was. And they just kind of look at you, looking a little upset.
God, they give hug. Uh, they give very big hug. Um, but you are aiming to get better, are you not?
I'm hoping to. I don't want to stay like this, but I'm not used to dealing with these kind of emotions on my own, I guess. I mean, I have a sister here, found family. But they're kind of going through a lot at the moment too, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. Because I want to help them, but it's getting harder to do both, I guess. Not really. I don't like not knowing the right answer, I guess. I'm not used to that, per se. I mean, I haven't always been right, but I knew the people I lived with pretty well, and it was a lot easier to understand what they were going through, and not necessarily guess, but, I guess guess what they might need, or how to help them, while also dealing with my own things. And this is completely different, somehow. And, I'm tired.
God, oh. I'm having emotions. Give me a second. Okay,
I'm so
this
sorry.
is fine. It's great.
Hey, you doing okay, Magic?
Yep, this is fine.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling alright.
Cool.
This is cool.
I have no idea what you're feeling, but okay.
I need to process, cause my brain, I poke at it.
Oh, too close to home? You good?
No. It's more
Okay.
like
Whew.
where it's hard sometimes.
Oh, I get that.
Information.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. God. I hold lore so soft. Just if you ever do need help, I'd be more than happy to assist you.
Mm. Well,
It may be hard right now, but it will be better over time.
um, hmm. Lloyd kind of thinks and kind of looks off to his side, and you get the fact he's looking at his pocket. And he kind of digs in it for a second and writes down, but you're not really sure because you can't read, but he hands it to you, and you can tell it's really nice handwriting at least. It's all curly and shit.
Oh, thank you.
And
I
he's
cannot
like,
read.
oh. Willow just kind of frowns, and he's like, well, that makes this complicated. Oh, well, are you able to recognize and replicate patterns and shapes?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, imagine this as an image instead.
Okay.
Can you reproduce it?
They nod.
Okay, they hand you a
And
little piece of paper, and they're like, can you try it?
they take actually like they reach into their sort of chest cavity, and they pull out like a paintbrush, and they take one of the paints that was kind of left discarded, and sort of recreate the image, sort of like bit for bit. It's your exact same handwriting.
Oh, that's
Congratulations.
perfect. Lur
Uh,
smiles, and he's like, that's perfect.
and they nod.
Lur points at it, and he's like, that shape is my name.
Oh, it looks very lovely, Lorem.
Thank you. He points at the first shape, and he's like, that's Lorem. He points at the middle shape. That's choir, my middle name. It's not the singing kind. It's a. He laughs. It's a stack of 15 pages of paper. My family are printers. They thought it was funny.
Ollo gives a nod.
And then that shape is my last name, Parif. If you write this on a piece of paper, well, I guess if you put it on an envelope and set it down, now that you've met me, it will find me. It'll disappear and I'll get it.
Ollo gives another nod. That is good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then, do you ever receive letters, Ollo?
Typically, no.
Typically. If you ever have, do they write Ollo on it?
They pause and they kind of look. I cannot read, so I could not tell you.
Okay, well, I'm guessing that your name would be Ollo. And he writes that down. And he's like, this shape. And it looks like a circle, 2 lines, and a circle.
They nod. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, if anybody asks you for your name, you just memorize the shape and you can copy it and they'll know what it means.
They give a nod. Just, oh, why, thank you.
Mm-hmm. If I write this on a letter and set it down, or something like that, it will find you. It'll just kind of appear somewhere, either on your person or near your person. And you can't read, so I'll find out some other way of communicating, I guess. Does the reading extend to telling time? Or
No,
is
I
that
have an
different?
internal clock.
Wonderful. Okay, now that makes things easier, because then I can maybe draw a picture of a place and put a time. Okay. Um, I hand you lore figuring out how to work around things. I also look at the fact I'm dyslexic and I had to memorize the shapes of words
God,
instead of
hopes
reading.
up.
Yeah, like I have to. I recognize the shape of a word before what the word is. I think this is why I can read in my dreams, because I don't think it registers as words. I think it registers as an image. Anyway,
Mhm.
um, that's my theory. I do a shrug. Uh, so Lore does that, and he's like, "Okay, this means that we can write each other." I say write, but you can send images or pictures or whatever you like. Um, and maybe I can uh, teach you other shapes that mean other things. And Lore smiles.
They nod. Thank you very much, Lorem. I am sorry I was not able to further assist you in your troubles.
Oh no, talking is nice. Quick question: how many shapes are you able to memorize at a time?
They kind of pause. They God have a live intelligence. God, I lay down.
Are you able to attach images to meanings?
It it can be difficult with different contexts.
Lore nods, and he's like, "Okay, well, there are ways of communicating that aren't necessarily language, like in the writing sense, but are image based. I think back at home, my mother has some examples, but I could maybe teach you that. They're based off of images. Like if you want to say home or house, you draw like a little square with a triangle on top. Things like that. Maybe you could learn how to communicate on paper that way.
Uh, God, I hold lore so soft. Ah. Um, they give a nod and thank you very much, Lorem. Would you like a hug?
I would very much like a hug, and they smile.
Uh, they give Lore a nice big hug. It feels like you're being surrounded by plushie.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Although you're fine, but you do notice that this kid is very strong as they squeeze you.
Mhm.
And I do present
Defending.
the fact that they are Laura's happy because they know that that Ollo is sturdy.
Yeah. There's not even a creak.
Yeah, no, that's great because that means they can actually hug without worrying about like breaking someone. I look at his
Yeah.
20 strength.
Yeah. They're made of pure fucking steel, baby.
Can finally hug with full strength.
Yes, good.
Perfect. They actually check, and he's like, "Am I gonna hurt you if I hug you really tightly?"
They kind of shake their head.
Okay, good. And they hug you very tightly.
Mhm. God.
Their face is buried in your coat.
There's a hug back, and you can feel like their little mask sort of plop down on top of your head, Lore.
Laura just kind of tucks in under it and stays there. He wants to have this hug. He would like to stay here.
Mhm. They don't move.
Wonderful. And
God.
man, I don't know if you want to wrap up or not, because that could be a good place to end it, unless Ollo has other questions. Or Laura, what are you giving me? Laura's giving me Penguin stays here and shall give me cuddles.
Yes. Good.
Because
That's one of Ollo's main ways of helping, giving people
wonderful.
hugs.
Laura is very touch starved. I present to the fact that they live with let's see, 11 people in one household.
Mhm.
And has 6 little siblings that are constantly hanging off of him.
Mhm.
He has not had that.
God.
Mm-hmm.
I hand you back. There was going to be at least
Mm-hmm.
one passerby who thought they were dating.
Laura is oblivious to this. What's dating?
Ollo is also oblivious to this, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, Laura does know
Listen,
what dating is, but he forgets that it could apply to him.
listen. They held hands. They did good hugs.
They
Ollo
painted
Ollo did
together.
like the little beak press thing. Um, they painted together. They're sitting on a beach. Uh, they're basically cuddling at this point. You know.
They are cuddling at this point. Laura is has not let go.
Yeah.
He stay here.
God.
I hand you the fact that this boy is barely 18.
Mhm.
He's been 18 since for a few months, and that is it.
I wiggle.
There we go. He needs the hugs. This is also why
Have a
he
hug.
never fucking puts me down.
That's fair.
Yeah, touch dive person needs to hold all the time. Also, look, anyone shorter than him is immediately like, oh, this is, yes, picks up. This is mine now. Walks away.
God. I hand you Lore
Mhm.
falls asleep.
Oh, definitely. Oh gosh. Let me roll a thing really quick, actually. This could be interesting. Um, oh, yeah, a little epilogue, I guess. It's getting later in the day. Ollo has just stayed here because it's Ollo.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you notice behind their eyes that a purple. I'm guessing you've turned on color again.
Mhm.
There's a bit of a purple hue behind their eyelids, and they seem distressed.
Mm. I think
Mm.
I think Ollo holds Laura a bit tighter and kind of like runs their metallic hand through his hair.
He makes another roll. They kind of quiet down a little bit, but open their eyes for a second, and you notice that their eyes were glowing, and they kind of stop, and they kind of mumble, "The sky is crying," and then they blink, and they're like, they look kind of like the expression of "What the fuck?"
I'm sorry. What did you mumble?
Uh, the sky is crying,
Ah.
and then they kind of blink and look like "What the fuck?" Like they did.
Mm.
They have no idea why they said that.
Uh.
And they
There's.
just sigh because they kind of know why they said that, but also what the fuck. And I present to you the fact they were having a nightmare about someone's lore.
Ah.
Ollo doesn't know that though.
Ollo doesn't know that. You're currently very much tucked against a literal plushie. Congratulations. And
Fantastic.
having a very metallic hand run through your hair.
I'm gonna say Laura eventually, like, pretty quickly falls back asleep. But sleeps a little bit more soundly. Yeah, no, Ollo is bed.
Ollo is bed now. As they were truly meant to be.
Yes. I have this joke with one of my OCs where I have another very tall character.
Mm-hmm.
And I look away. They may or may not be Lorem inspiration because they hug people while they have crises, and my friends and I joke about how they're just a walking therapy couch. And I look at Ollo. Her walking penguin therapy couch, I guess.
I suppose.
Yes.
You're getting a really good hug.
I think that's a good place to end. They just kind of I would not be Ollo is Ollo. They would not move as long as Laura was sleeping.
Nope.
Yeah, they're gonna be there till fucking tomorrow.
Yeah. At some point, Ollo might get, like, snatch a plant and just fucking eat it. Which is very fascinating because they have to shove it through one of their eye holes.
Oh my gosh, I love them. Man, I can't wait for Laura to figure out that shit.
Yeah.
I hand you the fact that they would definitely try to throw popcorn in there.
Wait, don't. Anyway. I hold soft these two.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a wrap. Thank you for anyone listening in the future. I hand you this. I apologize, but not really. You decided to listen to this. It's your own damn fault. Congratulations, you made it to the end. I wiggle. I'm so sorry. Okay. I very quickly see if I can end my obs.
Alright, I'm gonna stop my recording. Yep. Bye, everybody.
Bye.